My name is Jack, and I want to share the most painful yet transformative experience of my life. After over 2 decades of marriage, I discovered something that shattered my world. My wife, Lisa, was having an affair. What I found, how I responded, and the choices I made after that moment became the defining turning point of my life. A journey from devastation to empowerment. Lisa and I had been married for more than 20 years. For as long as I could remember, I believed we were unshakable, a couple who had weathered life's storms together. I can still recall the flutter in my chest the first time I met her, the sheer joy of saying "I do," and the overwhelming happiness that came with the birth of our daughter. She was my partner in every sense of the word. Our lives weren't perfect, of course. Like any marriage, there were ups and downs. But never in my darkest thoughts did I imagine betrayal as part of our story. To me, Lisa was the foundation of our family, the person who held us all together. When Lisa's 50th birthday approached, I wanted to give her a night to remember. I poured my heart into planning a celebration that would reflect everything she meant to me. I envisioned her surrounded by family and friends, basking in the love and admiration of the people who cared about her most. I meticulously planned every detail, guest lists, decorations, her favorite foods, and spent hours crafting a heartfelt speech. It was meant to be a moment for me to stand before everyone and tell her how much she was loved, how deeply she was cherished. But what started as a dream quickly spiraled into a nightmare. It happened by accident. One evening, I noticed something on Lisa's phone that didn't sit right with me. It's not like me to snoop. I had never felt the need to. But an unsettling feeling in my gut pushed me to look. What I found froze me in place. Messages, photos, even videos. Each piece of evidence was a dagger to my heart, confirming the unthinkable. Lisa was having an affair, and it wasn't just with anyone. The man was someone I knew, a man who used to work at my office, someone I had gone out of my way to help when he lost his job. I had been kind to him, supported him when he needed it most, and now he was the one standing in my place, beside my wife. Words failed to capture the storm that erupted within me. My stomach churned, my chest felt tight, and I couldn't catch my breath. It was as though the entire foundation of my life had crumbled in an instant. My love for Lisa, the trust one had in her, even the life we had built together, all of it felt like a lie. Questions plagued my mind. Why? How long had this been going on? Had our whole marriage been a facade? Every new detail I uncovered felt like another blow, deepening the wound. At first, I thought about confronting Lisa right then and there. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain I was carrying. But as the initial shock gave way to something colder and more calculated, I realized a simple confrontation wouldn't be enough. Lisa needed to understand the full weight of her betrayal. Not just the pain she caused me, but the damage she had inflicted on our family, on our daughter. She needed to feel what it was like to watch something you love be torn apart. That's when an idea began to form in my mind. Lisa's 50th birthday, the celebration I had been meticulously planning, would become something entirely different. It wouldn't just be a party. It would be a stage, a moment for me to reveal the truth. I threw myself into the preparations with as much energy and attention to detail as before, pretending everything was normal. I finalized the guest list, arranged the decorations, and even made sure her favorite cake was ordered. But at the last minute, I made a small change. Instead of the cake I had originally chosen, I had a new one prepared. One that featured explicit photos of Lisa and her lover. It was a cruel, undeniable symbol of what she had done. The centerpiece of my plan, though, wasn't the cake. It was the presentation. I spent hours crafting a PowerPoint that would expose the full story. The first half of the presentation was designed to tug at the heartstrings. I included photos from our wedding, snapshots of our daughter's birthdays, and images of vacations we had taken together as a family. Each picture was a reminder of the life we had built together, the happiness I thought we shared. What came next, though, would turn that nostalgia into shock. My name is Jack, and what I'm about to share is the most painful yet defining chapter of my life. After more than 20 years of marriage, I discovered that the woman I loved, my wife Lisa, had been unfaithful. That revelation not only shattered my world, but also forced me onto a path of self-discovery, pain, and ultimately, transformation. For over 2 decades, I believed Lisa and I shared a bond unbreakable by time or circumstance. Ours was a life filled with memories that felt sacred. The day we met, the joy of our wedding, and the pure bliss of holding our newborn daughter for the first time. Lisa was the beating heart of our family, the cornerstone of everything I cherished. Sure, our marriage had its ups and downs like any relationship, but I never once questioned her loyalty or her love. To me, she was my partner in every sense of the word. As Lisa's 50th birthday drew near, I wanted to make it a night she would remember forever. I poured myself into the preparations with the kind of attention to detail you only give when you truly adore someone. I imagined her surrounded by everyone who loved her, family, friends, and even those acquaintances who held her in high regard. My plan included a heartfelt speech, one that would show her how deeply I valued her and how much she meant to me after all these years. It was going to be perfect, or so I thought. Fate, however, had other plans. A week before her birthday, I noticed something unusual on Lisa's phone. At first, I told myself it was nothing, just a passing moment. But a strange, persistent feeling gnawed at me, urging me to look. It wasn't something I'd ever done before. I trusted her implicitly. But this time, I gave in to that instinct. What I found stopped my heart. Messages, photos, videos. They told a story I was utterly unprepared for, a story of betrayal. Lisa was having an affair, and not just with anyone. The man she was involved with was someone I knew personally, someone I had once helped during a difficult time. He had worked for me, and when he lost his job, I went out of my way to support him. I welcomed him into my life, extended kindness to him, and this was how he repaid me, by stepping into my marriage and tearing apart everything I held dear. The devastation was indescribable. It was as if the ground beneath my feet had vanished, and I was left free falling into an abyss. My chest tightened, my stomach churned, and my thoughts raced uncontrollably. Everything I believed in, everything I trusted, crumbled in an instant. I couldn't stop the flood of questions. How long had this been going on? Why would she do this? Was our entire marriage a lie? Every new answer only deepened the wound, and the betrayal became even more unbearable. At first, I wanted to confront Lisa immediately. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to make her feel the agony she had inflicted on me. But as I sat with the weight of it all, another idea began to take shape. I realized that a simple confrontation wasn't enough. Lisa needed to understand the magnitude of the damage she had caused, not just to me, but to our daughter, to our family, and to the life we had built together. Her 50th birthday, the celebration I had meticulously planned, would now serve a very different purpose. It wouldn't be a party to honor her. It would be a stage to expose the truth. I threw myself into the preparations as if nothing had changed. I finalized the guest list, approved the decorations, and even ensured her favorite cake was ordered. But behind the scenes, I made some changes. At the last moment, I replaced the cake with one that featured explicit photos of Lisa and her lover, a shocking display of the betrayal she thought she could hide. The main event, though, would be the presentation. I created a PowerPoint filled with memories of our life together. The first part was a walk down memory lane. Photos from our wedding day, celebrations of our daughter's milestones, vacations we had taken, and moments of joy we once shared. Each image told a story of love, trust, and the life we had built. But then, the tone of the presentation shifted. The photos disappeared, replaced by screenshots of Lisa's messages with her lover. The night of the party arrived, and Lisa was radiant, oblivious to what was about to unfold. Surrounded by her loved ones, she was the picture of happiness. Guests laughed, chatted, and celebrated her. I stood by, rehearsing my speech in my head, barely able to contain the storm inside me. When the moment came, I tapped my glass to get everyone's attention and took the stage. My voice trembled as I began. I spoke about the life we had shared, the love I had for her, and the family we had built together. Lisa's eyes glistened with happiness, and the warmth of her smile only fueled the fire inside me. The presentation began, and the first slides drew applause and laughter. Guests reminisced as they watched the beautiful moments we had captured over the years. Then, suddenly, the screen shifted. Messages. Photos. Evidence. The room fell silent. The laughter evaporated, replaced by gasps and stunned expressions. Some people turned away. Others stared at the screen in disbelief. Lisa's face turned pale, then bright red, as panic set in. Her smile disappeared, replaced by tears as the weight of her actions became undeniable. When the cake was brought out, the final blow landed. The explicit images on the cake left no room for doubt. Guests looked at Lisa with a mix of shock and pity, while she broke down completely. And then, I delivered the final act. In front of everyone, I handed her the divorce papers. The room was so silent that my words seemed to echo. "This," I said, "is the price of hiding the truth." Lisa sobbed uncontrollably, covering her face as the humiliation sank in. The room remained frozen, guests unsure of how to react. At that moment, I expected to feel relief, vindication even. But instead, I felt a strange emptiness. I had won the battle, but it came at a cost I hadn't anticipated. In the days that followed, Lisa's family condemned my actions. They believed I had gone too far, that such a public exposure was unnecessary. "You could have handled this privately," they told me. Perhaps they were right. But for me, Lisa's betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a betrayal of our family, of everything we had built together. Sweeping it under the rug wasn't an option. Eventually, Lisa admitted her guilt. She claimed she had cheated because she felt neglected due to my busy work schedule. She said her lover made her feel young and desirable again. Hearing those words cut deeper than I thought possible. For years, I had worked tirelessly to provide for our family, to give Lisa and our daughter a life they could be proud of. And now, that devotion was being used against me. The divorce process was swift. Lisa didn't contest anything, knowing she had no ground to stand on. When it was over, I felt a strange mix of freedom and loss. 2 decades of my life felt like they had been erased in an instant. But one thing kept me grounded: our daughter. She became my anchor, the reason I found the strength to move forward. Looking back now, I question my actions. Was it right to expose Lisa so publicly? Could I have chosen a different path? Perhaps. But in the heat of the moment, consumed by anger and pain, I wasn't thinking rationally. What I do know is this: her actions taught me the value of self-worth and the importance of never compromising on it. Today, I focus on the future. Each day, I rebuild myself for my daughter and for me.